Hello everybody, I hope you're all well. This is going to be an update in regards to my last video where I had been saying when I went away to Yarmouth that my tinnitus was like it wasn't there, and that it felt like it had gone. And also what I've decided I will do from now on, quite often I'll get asked questions from some of my subscribers about certain aspects of tinnitus, my own tinnitus, and just general questions about tinnitus, etc. And I will usually type a reply to that subscriber. What I found though is sometimes, of course, not everybody's reading the same posts, and sometimes I'll get the same question asked repeatedly and have to give out the same answer again and again. So what I thought might be a better idea is, if a question is asked on my channel that I think is relevant and of interest to most of the tinnitus community, I will do a video, not for every question obviously, because that would just be impossible, but you know, what I will do is, if I think it's a interesting enough question, I will do a video reply to this question. Therefore more people will see the video reply and the answer that I'm going to give, and the answer will get out to more people more quickly, and I think that will be a better way of doing it, and I'm going to do that, the first one of these, tonight. But before I do that, going back to this reduction in my tinnitus when I was away on holiday, etc. If you remember rightly, when I came home, while I was away in Yarmouth, it was like the tinnitus wasn't there. If you want to watch that video, it's the last one that I did. It was like the tinnitus wasn't there, and it was lovely. But in that same video you would have seen me say that when I came home and stepped through my front door, instantly the tinnitus returned. Not at a high level, level 1 or 2, but instantly I noticed it, and I have made sense of this in a way that I think is what my brain is doing. Is when I walked through my front door, my brain was saying, you're back to your everyday life now, holiday's over, you're back to your everyday life now, with all the stresses and what everyday life throws at you, and my tinnitus was noticeable again in the background, level 1 or 2, but instantly noticeable, whereas on holiday in Yarmouth I didn't notice it at all. It was like it wasn't there. Moving on further from that, when I came back from Yarmouth, I was still off work for a week, and during that week it was only about a level 1 or 2 pretty much all week. Some of you would have seen I was working on my bike and so on and so on, and it was level 1 or 2 most of the week. However, on Sunday I knew I was going back to work on the Monday, and I had a slight increase in volume, but nothing that worried me. But I think it was my mind realising the hesitation is probably not the right word, the implication that I was going back to work, and of course my brain decided to let me know that, yeah, you're going to be going back to work on Monday, you don't like that very much, I'm going to increase in volume, and it did. Not greatly, but it did. Then on the Monday I went back to work, and as I say, my tinnitus was agitated to a degree. It was agitated, it wasn't terrible, but it was agitated, and I believe this was the, because I was back at work. Nothing bad happened that day, but I was back at work and I was back to my everyday life, and my tinnitus reflected this. And then Monday evening, I had a bit of a domestic problem at home, and tempers were frayed, etc., and my tinnitus went up again. And then today, being Tuesday, at work today, my tinnitus has not been very good. It has not been very good. It has been at about a 3 dipping into a 4. Irritating, very irritating. I've been aware of it all day. I'm a little bit better now. I'm at home, but it's still noticeable. I'm still noticing it now as I'm talking to you on the camera. I'm not getting stressed about it because I know I can get it to come back down again to where I'm comfortable. But at the moment, right now, at this moment, I'm not in a comfortable place with the tinnitus. Not terrible, but it's not comfortable. So later on this evening, I hope to be making the next meditation self-hypnosis video because I feel like it's going to help me tonight as much as anybody else. I feel I need that. So hopefully I'm going to do that later on this evening. So this again, sadly, illustrates that although you can become habituated, as I am most of the time, this is not the same as being cured. I've already said this a few times. It is not the same as being cured, and although I had the days on holiday where it was like the tinnitus wasn't there, I am not cured. Tinnitus is still with me. It's very, very strongly still with me. But I'm not getting stressed about it because I still feel I'm on the road to recovery. Right, the second part of this is, like I say, a Q&A. Now I had a post from a subscriber. I think her name is Me. I hope I've got this right. Her YouTube name YouTube name. Her YouTube name is Me Like Tat, and she was asking about weightlifting and training because it sounds like she's a little bit hesitant to go back to that. She used to do training and now she's hesitant because, of course, it can be. It can heighten the adrenal levels, etc., etc. And in some, we know that heightening adrenal levels and getting hyped up can increase your volume in tinnitus. Getting angry certainly can. So she was asking me, do I think that training has a detrimental effect on my tinnitus? I have spoken about this in previous videos, but I will speak specifically about training in this one to answer her question. Now, when I used to train, let me just first say, when she asked me about weightlifting, the sort of kind of training that I do is not weightlifting. A weightlifter is primarily interested in how much weight they can shift. There is a difference between a weightlifter and bodybuilding. Now my sister is a semi-pro bodybuilder, not weightlifter, bodybuilder. She's a semi-pro bodybuilder, and she will be competing in September. I may get a photograph of her later. She'll love that, and show you her physique. She's still very feminine looking, but her physique is very, very shredded. You can see each individual muscle, and a couple of times she's trained me, and let me tell you, I'm worn out after one of her training sessions, but she is semi-pro. So the type of training that I do is geared much more towards the bodybuilding than weightlifting. Weightlifting is primarily interested in how much weight you can shift. I don't really care about how much weight I can shift, and neither is my sister. Bodybuilding is much more about the aesthetics, the look. Gray will probably have a little chuckle about this one because he recently did a video talking about health and obesity and losing weight, and he says he's not bothered about the aesthetics, how you look, or being buff for the beach. He's just interested in the health aspect of it. Of course that comes with training, but I'm a little bit more, there's more of a vein streak in me than that, and I am interested in my physique and how I looked. Any guy that goes to a gym, looks in the mirror and trains, that says they're not interested in the way they look is frankly lying. But anyway, I gear more towards bodybuilding than weightlifting. Although I'm nothing like my sister. My sister is just absolutely, her diet regime, and that is very, very strict. And I just do it to improve my health, clearly, because that comes with it, but also to look better. So that's why I do it. But with the thoughts of impacting on my tinnitus, when I used to train at the gym with weights, I used to train in a way where I would get very, very aggressive, angry, to be able to get these reps out, put aggression, rage, to get these reps out. That's how I used to train. You hear a lot of guys in the gym lifting weights, making all kinds of these kind of noises. You hear it all the time, getting aggressive to get the reps out, and that's how I used to train. Now that was not helpful. I didn't realise it at the time, but getting in that aggressive state is not helpful for tinnitus. One of the reasons I have been struck with tinnitus, I'm convinced, is being too angry and in states of rage for too long periods of time. And I think this way of training is contributory to that. However, since going back to the gym and training, the way I train is very, very different now to the way I used to train by using aggression. I do not train in the same way. The Tai Chi has helped with this. I also used to breathe into the chest, pump the chest out. I've said this before. A lot of this malposturing going on at the gym, pump the chest out, all this kind of thing, rage, anger, all of that. The way I train now is very different. When I train now, I don't get aggressive, I don't get angry, I do not use aggression to train, to get those reps out. I train now in a way which is much more akin to the mental state I get in when I'm practicing Tai Chi. It's much more a focus of the mind into the body. For want of a better description, I train in a way now where it's much more not getting aggressive, but mind over matter. When I'm now using the weights in my training, it's much more a case of me putting my mind, focusing completely from my mind into my body. Basically, my mind telling my body, I'm so focused on what you're doing, you will get that barbell in the air. You will lift that last rep. You will do it. And I'm not getting aggressive. I'm not making any. I'm breathing a lot better. That's another big change. I'm breathing into the stomach area, filling my lungs completely into the diaphragm. My breathing has changed dramatically in the way I train, and it has made a big difference to me. So when I train now, I'm not getting aggressive. I'm training in a much more focus of the mind into the body, and this mind into the body is very helpful for tinnitus. It is for my tinnitus. Julian has spoken about mind into the body. This is just a form of that when I go to the gym. It's the same with the Tai Chi. I'm in that same kind of mindset. Difference is with the Tai Chi, I'm focusing on movement, slow movement, focusing on that. That's what I'm concentrating on solely, is into my body, the movement of the Tai Chi. With the training at the gym with the weights, it's a similar kind of thought process. My mind is going into my body, mind over matter. And I now train at the gym. I'm getting better results now. I'm training, I come out of the gym now in calm, and not in a heightened sense of, rage, which is what I used to be like. When I come out now, I just feel very calm, and I'm making more progress now at the gym with my training. I can train longer and better and lift heavier, although that's not the important thing about my training, but I can lift heavier. And I'm training better than I ever did pre-tinnitus. And this is due to a change of focus of the mind, the way that my mind is set when I'm training, my breathing. This is due to this. And so to answer me like tat, I hope I've pronounced that right. To answer you, if you're going to go back to training with weights, don't train using aggression, because that will not help you. That will be detrimental to your tinnitus. It will probably increase it. It won't help it. Getting aggressive will not help it. But if you are going to go back to the gym and you want to go back to the gym, go back to the gym, start training again, but get into a different mindset of the way you're going to train. You don't need the aggression to train. Focus, it's difficult to explain. Focus the mind into the body. Try and look at it as a mind over matter experience and see how you get on with that. So my answer to you is, in short, no, going to the gym does not affect my tinnitus in a bad way. It helps me. The way I train now, it helps me, and I come out feeling relaxed, and I've had a good workout, and I'm making more progression with my training than I did before I had tinnitus. So please, yes, go back to the gym. Don't stop your training, but don't train with aggression. That's my advice on this subject. I hope that's answered your question. Like I say, any other questions that I think are, interesting, important, or just relevant, instead of just typing one answer to one person, I'll probably do an answer via video, because I think that will stop the need for repeated questions in typing, because as much as I like to reply, I don't have all the time in the world. I do have quite a busy life, and Mondays and Tuesdays I have my little boy. So Mondays and Tuesdays, if you've posted something to me and I don't reply in a timely fashion from Sunday through to Tuesday, it's more than likely because I have my little boy and I just don't have the time. But I will always reply to everybody given time. Okay, I hope that's helpful, and I hope that's answered the question. And I am now going to go and start the next meditation video, and hopefully you will all get something out of that. Thank you very much. We'll see you soon.